Chester is one of England's most historic cities, with roots tracing back to the Iron Age. Over the centuries, it's evolved through Roman, Saxon, Norman, and medieval periods. And of course, let's not forget the Victorians, who made an enormous contribution, each leaving its mark on the city. I've lived here for about 5 years, and I'm now only scratching the surface of what treasure Chester has. Done 4 walks, and I can recommend them to anybody if they're coming here to Chester to find out its wonderful history. The trouble is, each walk is about an hour and a half, and you're given so much information that it's really hard to take it all in. So I thought, why not join me as I take a casual walk through the streets, uncovering stories from its varied past. Today I'm starting at Northgate Street, near the Northern Roman Gate. It's here that we find one of Chester's more intriguing landmarks, the Bridge of Sighs. What intrigues me is this poster that's on the road bridge facing the Bridge of Sighs, and it says, "This is an artist's impression," which shows a prisoner in around 1790 walking over the Bridge of Sighs to receive his last rites in the chapel of Little John. Now, if you look closely down below, there's a barge going through the canal, and I wondered, is this a little bit of artist license? And could all those things have been happening at that time? A little bit of investigation might give us the answer. The canal beneath Chester's Bridge of Sighs is part of the Shropshire Union Canal, and it was completed and operational in 1772. But was there an execution in 1790? And did he walk this lonely road? Well, there was an execution. His name was John Dean, and the story goes that John Dean had returned home very late from the public house and began to shout at his wife. The lodger, Mary Bell, and the couple's son began to try to calm the situation, but had to leap from the window to save themselves. Mary fetched Constable Thorley, who went to the house to find that John Dean had murdered his wife, who was 7 months pregnant at that time. After his execution, John Dean, who came from Stockport, was hanged in chains on a gibbet on Stockton-Port Moor. So, did the artist depict a true picture of what was going on at that time? The trouble is, we're told that the bridge was built in 1793. So, I think the artist might be stretching it a bit when he said in and around 1790. So I think the jury's still out. This is an artist's impression of the Northgate Jail. It was built in the 12th century and served as the city's main prison for several centuries before being demolished in 1808. The last public execution in Chester took place on April 12, 1866, when Richard Davis was hanged outside Chester Castle for murder. It was this execution which marked a turning point and led to Chester playing a significant role in stopping public executions in the UK. The event was criticised for its morbid spectacle, with large unruly crowds treating it as entertainment rather than a sombre judicial event. Influential residents of Chester and other parts of the UK lobbied for a change to the penal system. They argued that public executions failed to deter crime and instead promoted a culture of violence. In 1868, the Capital Punishment Amendment Act was passed, and it ended public executions in the UK. The last execution in Chester, held privately within the prison, occurred in March the 27th, 1914, when John Williams was executed for the murder of his wife. The Bridge of Sighs in Chester, along with the history of executions, serves as a vivid reminder of the more brutal and unforgiving period of human history. The public nature of executions, like those outside Chester Castle, reflect an era where such events were not only punishments but also spectacles intended to serve as deterrents. One of the things the research showed up was that there was another John Dean who was executed in 1629. He was accused of setting fire to 2 barns. He was 9 years old. The shift from public to private executions in the 19th century marks a social move towards a more restrained and less overtly violent methods of justice. It's a reminder of how our perspectives on justice, punishment and humanity have evolved, and can we hope to one where we live in a more tolerant and forgiving society? The question is, have we changed, or is it just that we've adapted to the modern world? Let's hope the next bit of Chester history isn't so grim, so I look forward to seeing you there.